Guys.
Being from the West and not being so familiar with Mahabharat, my question is, did Mahabharat really happen, or is it just a story?
The ancient books that you find in this country have been categorized as three different categories: the Vedas, the Puranas and Itihas. Vedas are about abstract ideas. Puranas are stories of beings who are not human, about otherworldly people. Shiva's story is called Shiva Purana, not Shiva Itihas. This is very significant. We clearly say Shiva Purana, but we do not say Krishna Purana. No, Krishna Avatara, that means it happened. I've already gone through this, but anyway. So when we tell a story, in the West, if you talk about history, you're talking about somebody, let's say 2000 years ago. The nature of the Western intellect is to analyze this, try to get the facts of his life as much as possible and present it as facts and analysis. 5,000 years ago, whether somebody lived or did not live does not make any difference in your life, isn't it? Whether Jesus existed or not does not make any difference in your life. Whether that dimension or that quality we refer to as Jesus exists in your life or not is what makes the difference, isn't it? So, when history is written in this country, it is written in such a way that it will always be relevant for people. The story or the events did happen, but it is said in such a way that it is not simply a factual analysis, but a live process where even after 1,000 years, if human beings read this story, it still means something to them because it is written in that context. Because his story is not important for me, my story is important for me in this life. And I want to enrich my story with his story. I don't want to burden myself with his story. History is a burden, isn't it? See, there are many historical facts in Europe. You come from Europe or America? Huh? America. So, there are many historical facts in America and in Europe which you do everything possible to hide in your history books. Yes or no? It comes out in small pieces in Hollywood movies, but the history books in America and in Europe do everything possible to hide because this is the ugliness of humanity. It is best it is hidden in many ways, but at the same time people who suffered want to keep it up because it is said as simply facts and analysis. If the same thing was said in the fashion in which Mahabharat is said, everybody should know that story so that we don't repeat those mistakes once again. So instead of carrying history as a burden on your head, you carry history as a solution in your life. That is Mahabharat. We are carrying this 5,000-year history like a solution to our lives. What says at the beginning of Mahabharat is, what is in this book could be everywhere, but what is not in this book is nowhere. Everything that a human being can go through is here in some form. It's for you to glean it out of the story, for you to grow out of the story. If you go through the story like a live process, you will become like Yudhishthira in the end, clean of all these things. If you think it is somebody else's story, sit here and analyze, is Arjuna a good guy or a bad guy, is Duryodhana a good guy or a bad guy? unfortunately, this is so badly infected human mind today, you cannot sit here not judging anybody. Even if the man died long ago and liberated you from him, he died 5,000 years ago, but you have to pass your judgment on him. This is your arrogance. This will be your downfall. That is what the last part of the story is saying. Somebody is saying, oh, I saved all these people. No, not you. It is a consequence of so many things. So don't sit here, waste your life trying to analyze people who lived here 5,000 years ago. It's just waste of time and life. We want to see how his story can enhance my story. This is Mahabharat. It is the way it is rendered which is different. Is it historically did happen? Yes, it did happen. There are places, there are events, there are buildings still. There are still certain buildings, we're still fighting over it. Yes. Before this story of Krishna being born, when Rama was there, the building, we are still fighting on that. Recently the High Court of a certain state passed an order saying, yes, it was there and Rama was born here. And there are books in certain families which maintain lineages, and they say, I happened to meet somebody in Rajasthan, so they opened this one parchment book and they're showing, see here it is written, we are the 333rd generation in the Suryavamshis. So Rama was some 9,000 years ago, according to our book. We are here living as Suryavamshis even today. We belong to his lineage, we maintain the blood relationship. So the story definitely happened, but the way it is rendered, it's rendered in such a brilliant way so that it'll always be relevant. It will not become ancient history and we are not interested in reading. It will always be relevant. You will see in the next probably 20-30 years, Mahabharat will become very popular across the world. You watch it, I'm telling you this. You watch this and see, it will happen. And I will make sure it becomes very popular in Tamil Nadu because we are planning a truck-based drama company. 2 trucks, if they park together, it'll become stage. If it opens up, it'll have audio, lighting, works. So another 15 people travel in another van and a couple of jeeps to propagate. They will go and deliver Mahabharat just about anywhere. We want to do this, we're just looking for sponsorships, once the sponsorships come. Because the idea is not to tell somebody else's story. Story is one thing that a human being naturally wants to pay attention to. If you give them a teaching, nobody wants to listen. You tell them a story, everybody wants to listen. And modern educational research clearly says, if only science and social sciences and physical sciences and everything were rendered as stories or plays, people would learn science, would learn education, would go through the process of education without suppressing their intelligence. Right now, some of the research says if you go through from kindergarten for 20 years of formal education, 70% of your intelligence is irrevocably destroyed. That could be avoided if education was rendered as a story. You do one thing, you go into your schoolhouse and tell them A plus B equals C, do. Children will crawl under the table and disappear. The earth was soft, they will dig a tunnel and go away. That is why they fix concrete floors. But you tell them a story, they will burrow themselves from their homes and come and pop up and sit here. Yes or no? So we want to tell the story in a big way in Tamil Nadu. If the sponsorships come, it'll happen sometime in the year. And somebody was asking me, why not Maharashtra, why not something else? Yes, it's possible everywhere. It just takes… you need to understand, there are people who have the talent. But that talent is dwindling so quickly because when kings lived, they sponsored talent. Now there is nobody to sponsor talent. So everybody is becoming software engineer. Make a living, make a living, make a living. After making a living, you don't know why the hell you're living. So it's very important. As the world gets more stabilized, which it is, it's more stable than ever before. As physical well-being comes to people, it is very important that a human being explores his consciousness in whichever way possible. Not everybody is going to sit like this, eyeballs rolled up. But people's eyeballs will roll up when you tell them a story. So, we want to make Mahabharat really popular, not because it's the history of this country, because it's your story. It is everybody's story. It is not somebody's story, it's our story. Every living human being, it is the same story, isn't it?